All right, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be doing the Pimlico card breakdown for Preakness Day, which is Saturday, May 15th. And as I did last time, I'm going to be doing the whole card. That's just the way I do it. So if you want to just skip ahead to the actual Preakness race, if you're only just interested in that, feel free. But I really believe that days like this is where you find the highest degree of value in horse racing, when you have these big, huge races that bring out all the public, as I imagine a lot of you guys are. What happens is, especially, considering there's probably going to be fans there at Maryland again, I mean, there's going to be a lot of money spent on these other races with really, really weak players playing them. So you're going to be able to find a lot of good value. So rather than me just give you the winner of the Preakness and give you the best value there, I am going to go through the whole card and see if we can't find another ways to make money there. If you do want to bet on the races and you don't have a place to bet, or even if you do, I ask you to sign up for XP Select and use True DFS as a sign-up code. They'll probably give you some kind of discount or something like that. But in any case, that's the way you guys can compensate us for this. Again, this is where I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but this is where I probably have the greatest edge over the rest of the public, which is one of the reasons I've just never given this stuff away, like literally ever. But for you guys, I am going to do it just for these particular races and these particular cards. So we did really, really well in the Derby. We hit the exacta for 500, like 250 to 1 or something like that, using the 4 horses we like the best. So, again, but just results aside, I mean, I am going to give you horses that have a better chance of winning than their odds would indicate, and that's pretty much all I can do. Okay, so the first race here, let's just take a look, and I'm looking off on the side. And as opposed to the last time, I'm kind of doing this kind of live. So it looks as though you have a 2 to 5 shot, Hozier. So we're going to try to see if there's anybody that can beat that. And right off the bat, right out of the gate here, I'm going to give you some really good value. So Hozier at 2 to 5 is barely even the most likely winner. I think that the 5 Romp is just as likely to win at the 4, and it's going to be like 5 to 10 times the price. So Romp is just a clear uber standout value. A secondary value is King Cheek, actually. I think King Cheek, problem with King Cheek is a sprinter, and this is his first time going long. I don't want to get into too much what that means, but for those of you who don't know about horse racing, but it does make his chances a little sketchy. But at that price, again, definitely in play. So I think that this is a really good race right out of the bat. I think literally that these two horses, Hozier and Romp, have exactly identical chances to win, and Hozier is going to be an incredible favorite. So I think that Romp is just a really good way to start off the Preakness card here. And this is literally the first time I'm analyzing it. So you're really getting my first my really my instinctive look at this. Now again, I neglected to mention, you really should just double check the odds, because these are just morning line odds. So I guess cardinal rule number 1 is never bet horse racing until like 1 minute to post, because you just never know what the odds are going to change even after you place a bet. So you just wait as long as you can. Okay, so this next race, and I'm going to tell you if I don't like anything either. So it looks as though 3 looks okay, 5 looks okay, 3, 5, 7 all look okay. 7 looks like really strong. Let me see. So I would presume that 10 is going to be the favorite. Yeah. So here's another one. Okay, so I think that the 10 Ocean's Map is, I would say, the most likely winner, but not that much more likely than some of these others. So I said Tapwood was pretty good, but I think that if you're willing to live with a horse coming off a layoff, I think Speed Game is pretty good at 10 to 1. So that's what I would do. I'd probably play Speed Game, maybe a little Tapwood, but Speed Game I think is the best value in the race. Ocean's Map is very, very solid though. Now again, what you guys are not going to care, I imagine. What I'm looking at on the side here are the sheets, and this is where my nickname comes from. And this is the data that I use to analyze these races, and I just don't have time to go over what all this is. Maybe one day. So second race, I think there's good value there as well. Third race, and there are like 13 races. So feel free to skip ahead if this is boring you, but these are good winners. These are good values, and you probably should bet them. Palatial Time, 30 to 1. Ooh, I hope I'm not going to have to bet that. Nope. Mighty Mischief is very solid, 5 to 2. As is Hemp, though. Look at this. Oh, my God. Jackson's Traveler, favorite, decent favorite, but not a lock. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be betting this. I'm going to bet this card. So Hemp, 15 to 1. Shackled Love, 30 to 1. I hate to say this, but they're both really strong. I mean, they're look, the 3 and the 5 are not as likely to win as the 4, but it's not going to lose like 30 times to 4's, win, so there's definitely value here in the 3 and the 5. So, just take that for what it's worth. I would definitely bet these things at anything over 10 to 1. It's unlike the Derby card. It's so funny because the actual Preakness is going to be somewhat boring, but the rest of these races look pretty good here. Let me see. Maybe this next race is not so good. So it looks like the 5 for 5 so far. I'm just kind of scrooching down here. 5, 5, 5. Yeah, the 5 is definitely the most likely winner here, and descending vote. So deciding vote. So the 5 and the 13, they're both 5 to 1. That's fair. They're fair prices. Not that much value in either of them, but they're not terrible. So if you were going to hook up, horses in the first, second, and third races with these, and you needed something in the 4th, I think those are fine. So I would say the 5 and the 13 there. Let's move on. Royal Crusader. Let's see. 1, no. Ooh, 2 is very vulnerable. So let's see what we can do to beat that. I think the 5 is just as good as the 2. I think the 6 might be the most likely winner. Oh my God, the 7. 6, 7 are probably the 2 most likely winners, and they are both very strong prices. Let me just double check. So the 10, Aurelio Caps, is okay. Sugar Daddy, I think, is the most likely winner, and it's 10 to 1. And then 6. Oh, it's going to be a fun card, man. These could all lose, but I'm just telling you the way I see it. The 7 I really make is the most likely winner, and it's right now going off at 10 to 1. So that's it's actually a misnomer to say it's going off at 10 to 1. I really don't know what it's going off at, but right on the morning line has it at 10 to 1. All right, 6th race tomorrow. Vigilante's Way, very solid. Great Island, just as good. Flighty Lady. So it looks like all of these horses, 1, 2, 3, 4, are almost identical. Okay, Mean Mary's very strong. We bet him in the. Oh, this is a shame. We bet him in the Breeders' Cup. I think he ran a good race for us too. Couldn't quite get enough. So this is probably a bad betting race. I think Mean Mary's a very, very strong play here, and you're not getting a lot of value. So I would probably pass this race. 7th race, Silent Malice is very. Oh my God! I hope I don't have to bet this. 20 to 1. Well, I shouldn't say I hope I don't have to bet it. Burning Bright, very strong, 8 to 1. Shane's Jewel, just okay. Macklemore Avenue is very good. So the 2 and the 5 so far are the most likely winners. 2, 5, and the 9 is okay. Oops, this is the 10's a lot. Sorry about all that. Yeah, 10's gonna win. It's not going off at 3 to 1. This goes off 3 to 1. I'm pounding. This should be 4 to 5. And would I bet it at 4 to 5? No, but if you get 2 to 1 on this, you should probably bet it. But you know what you could do? You could do an exacta. You could play 10-2 or something like that. That's something you could do. So I would play probably cold exacta here, the 10 with the 2 and 10 with the 5. That would be my recommendation for this race. All right, the James W. Murphy Stakes. I say that like I expect the whole western town to freeze. Indian Lake, not a turf horse really, not yet. 2 is 7 to 5. Let's see if we're going to be able to beat that. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, 7's okay. Decent sprinter. So I guess the 7 would be the one horse that I might use to beat the favorite here. Maybe the 5. Extra Sexy Big Daddy. So either the 5 or the 7 maybe has a shot to beat the 2. But I think the 2 is very strong. So again, I probably wouldn't go too crazy on this race. 9th, maybe do exactas like I just said with the favorite on those other long shots. All right, 9th race, the Run Happy Skip At Stakes. Club car pretty fast, casual pretty fast. Chub Wagon is 8 to 5. I mean, no better than 1 and the 2 actually. Let's see. Or Mischiefs. Ooh. I think that the most likely winner is probably the 8, but it's close. Let me see. So French Empire. I do think that the 7 has a shot. I definitely do not like the 5. Definitely not. I think the 3 is too slow. I think that the 1 and the 2 are probably secondary to the 8. So I like the 8 best, then the 1 and the 2, and then this 5. And because I don't like the 5 as much as these others, I do think it's a good betting race. I would use the French Empire, and I would use the 1. And the 3 is very, very long. So I'd probably I'd throw that in. I think let me just double check that. Was it 3? No, it wasn't the 3. 1 and the 2 look good. 3 is just too slow. Let me just double check. Oh no, the one that's not bad is the 7. 7's the long shot. So I would use the 8, 2, 1, and the 7. I wouldn't put the 5 on top. Just the value is just not there. All right, 10th race. Bondor or Boldor? Let's take a look. Again, I don't know. Probably should have been more prepared, but I just give you the picks. But here we go. 1 so far is the most likely winner. Then 1, 4. That's it. Looks like it's just going to be a 2-horse race here. Uh-oh. No, I think the 11. So the 11 looks pretty good. The 12 looks pretty good as a long shot. Wow. Oh, there it is. All right, so the 13 is probably the most likely. So 13 is probably a pretty decent chalk. But if you want to place stuff underneath or whatever, Fire Crow, the 11's pretty good. The 8 is okay. So there's 8, 11, 8, 11, 12 would be okay underneath. 8, 11, 12. Yeah, that makes sense. 4 is fine, but it's a little chalky. Well, I guess these guys are just as good. The 1 on the 4. Sorry. So where am I at here? 1, 4, 13. Probably a bad betting race. Yep, I would say that. 1, 4, 13 if you had to, but probably a bad betting race. 11th race. Getting near it, getting down to it, almost. Lackey, it's okay. Yolihu is okay. Mucho, pretty decent, 15 to 1. Strike Power is probably the favorite, right? Yeah. Strike Power is pretty fast. This one's good, Breezy Dust. So I think the 7 is so far the most likely winner. So 7 over the 5. And then any chance leave this long? Yeah, maybe. So this is good value here. So let me just go down and make sure I don't hit the 11. Oh, no, the 11 is very good. So let me go backtrack. So the 11, very strong. 10, 11, very similar. So given price, they're very similar. Not 8's probably second tier. I still think the 7's the most likely winner though. 7, then 5. So I would use the 7. 7 on top with the 5, 10, 11. 10's pretty good price. 11's pretty strong, but I think that I would make the 7 the best horse here. So I would take a shot with this one. 12th race. We're getting there. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're getting down to it. All right. 12th race. We're almost there, guys. If you didn't already fast forward past this. Should offer a prize for anybody who actually got through this whole thing. You know what the prize is going to be? That you'll be able to make good EV plays on the day. Some like it hot brown. Okay. Let me see. 1 and 2 equal so far. Ooh. 5 is going to be very tough to beat. Yep. So 5 is a very strong favorite. Not betting the race. And here we are, the Preakness Stakes. So there is a lock in this race. And I shouldn't say lock. I'm only betting the one thing in this race. If these prices are what they are, there's really only one thing that you can do. And given the numbers, and that is, well, I'll give you a couple of things. Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not betting Concert Tour. I'm not betting Medina Spirit. Midnight Bourbon is just light years the best looking horse in this race, according to the sheets, which is what I rely on. So Midnight Bourbon at 5-1 is clear number 1 for me. And if you want to try to catch a hoodoo, right, if you're interested, there are 2 things you could do. You could play Unbridled Honor at 15-1, or you can play Risk Taking. So you could take a risk on Risk Taking. I think that both of those horses have a shot to get in there. You know, if Medina Spirit just bounces, Concert Tour seems kind of weak. And you could go for a narrative. I mean, you could say that Baffert, because he got caught with the illegal drugs after the Derby, might be, you know, playing a little safe and not have his full complement of drugs. So and he trains both the 3 and the 10. So they're I mean, for that reason alone, it probably both tosses. So I would go for Midnight Bourbon on top, and then if you want to play some exactas, play with Risk Taking, and what did I say? What was the other one? Unbridled Honor. What about Crowded Trade? That was another one I was looking at for a second. And Crowded Trade, sorry, that's another one you could do. Crowded Trade, I actually feel, is the next best, now that I'm looking at it, is the next best horse. Like if I was going to say who I would bet, the problem with Crowded Trade is that all 3 of its races are in the mud, so it doesn't really give a good indication of what he is. But I like it. So what am I doing? I still think the 5 is most likely winner by a decent amount, but I think the 4 is the next one. So if you're going to play like the OAWs, want to do whatever, I would use the 5 most and then go with the 4 a little bit. And then if you wanted to go for the big Megillah, you would play Crowded Trade and Midnight Bourbon on top, and then underneath you would play Crowded Trade and Midnight Bourbon, and then Risk Taking and Unbridled Honor. Like for example, okay, I'll show you what I do. Let's say you wanted to play a trifecta. You would play Crowded Trade and Midnight Bourbon on top, then you would play Crowded Trade and Midnight Bourbon on top, Risk Taking and Unbridled Honor, right? Those are the horses. And then underneath that, you could throw the favorites into 3rd if you want. Maybe just even go all, just in case something really bizarre happens. So like here, like for 50 cents, right? You know, for 50-cent wager or whatever, you get all these units. So this is worth $24. And then if you want, let's do this. So check this out. So one of the things you could do, you do this. Then another thing you could do is if you're not as confident or whatever, you could play those guys in third, right? So let's just go all here in second, and then here those long shots in third. So it was going to be again Crowded Trade, Midnight Bourbon, right? So 4, 5, and then 4, 8, 9. And for another 24 hours. So this way you need the 4 or 5 to come in first, right? And you need either the 4 or 5 or 8, 9 to come in third. So between these two bets, you need the 4 and 5 to win, and then you need the 8 and the 9 to come in, one of them, right? To come in either second, well, to come in third, pretty much here, along with 4 and 5. So, and then if you really want to get fancy, if you really like Midnight Bourbon, you could do something like this. You could go just Midnight Bourbon on top, and then you can go 4, then you, well, you don't need the 5 here. So you go 4, 8, 9, and then you can go all this way. Just invest a little less money, and it still gets that you know, those bombs in second, and you know, it costs a little bit less because you're not playing both the 4 and the 5 on top. Okay, so you screw around that way. All right, that's it. Good luck to you guys, and let's take something down.